Hello everybody, I am Brie and welcome back to my channel. Before we get started, I wanted to point your attention to this new wonderful canvas that is going to be a permanent part of my background now because I love it so freaking much. It says, I need to go to my mind palace, and it is the Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock with little Mickey ears. My friend Alyssa, who was here visiting me about a week ago, gave it to me for my graduation because I recently graduated university. And I love it so much, and I wanted to tell you about it because she has an Etsy shop that's open. I know she does a lot of like monogram letters, but they're really cool because they're themed of like Disney princesses or Marvel characters, and I think she did Peter Pan recently, and she does hair bows, so I will link all of her stuff below. If you don't see something you like, she's really awesome about being able to maybe customize stuff for you, so go check her out. We were driving back to my apartment when we just spontaneously decided, let's go to San Francisco. We really wanted to go to Alcatraz.
But if you want to go to Alcatraz as badly as I want to go, you definitely have to plan months in advance. We looked up tickets, and the next available tickets were not available until August, and this was like the third-ish week of May, I think.
Sidetracked. Until we got there. And that is when all ghosts broke loose. Now you're probably like, Brie, you're saying it wrong. It's all hell broke loose. Well, I'm saying this because when we got to the hotel, we didn't know it when we arrived, but this hotel was supposedly haunted. Let that sink in a minute. We stayed in a haunted hotel. What? It was like 2:30-ish a.m. We drove through the night because we were like, we're gonna spend the day in San Francisco. So when we get back to the hotel, we go up to our room, which this was like a 100% smoke-free hotel, and as soon as we step off of the elevator, all you smell is weed. It was disgusting. I was like, ugh. What happened to smoke-free? There's like signs everywhere that say like 100% smoke-free hotel, and it was not. But we were like, whatever, we can't smell it by our room, so we go to our hotel room, and this is where everything starts to get a little weird. We go to open the door, and I can't. Like, the green light goes, like I can open the door, but it like is stuck. And you know at hotels, whenever like you're inside of the room, and on the door there's like a latch that you can like put down, and some of them have like those little chain latches, but some of them, a lot of hotel rooms just have like it almost looks like a tuning fork type thing that you put over like the little hook. I don't know if that makes any sense, but I think you know what I'm talking about. But you can only do it from the inside, so that way the door catches if someone tries to open it. And you can't do it from the outside because of the way the latch works. And so that's what was catching whenever I tried to open the door. And I tried to open it twice and it wouldn't open. It would like catch, and it was very obvious that that was what it was catching on. So I'm like, ugh, somebody's in the room, like, which the guy that was in front of me, their problem was like their system for some reason was like showing rooms that were already booked weren't booked, and I don't know, it was kind of weird. So I was like, great, they put us in a room that somebody was already in. So Rose was gonna knock on the door, and I was like, it's not their fault, let's just go down and talk to them. So we go back down to the front desk, and I tell him like, somebody's in the room, like it's latched from the inside. And he was like I said, this guy was kind of weird, and he was like, fine, I'll send somebody up there. So this guy goes up there to check it, and we're just kind of standing there like irritated, and he like gets a walkie-talkie thing and says like, the guy's in the room. He was like, it's unlocked. And I even asked Alyssa because I was like, was I crazy? Like, was that really not, was it unlocked and I just didn't know it? And she was like, no, I think it was locked. And of course, like at this point we're all kind of like, was it locked? Was it unlocked? Did I do it wrong? And he was like, the guy's in the room. And then the weird part of this conversation between he and I is he has this weird smirk, like, he's in the room. Don't look at me like that. I was like, he's in the room, and he was like, he's in. Okay, that was so weird. And so we're just like, fine, whatever. And so we go back up and we pass the maintenance guy who was like the nicest one there, and we go to unlock it and it opens like seamlessly, like doesn't catch on anything. And Alyssa was like, okay, it definitely did not do that at the beginning, because she, like I was like, well, did we do it wrong? And it just like opened perfectly fine. So that was so weird, because that latch you cannot do from the outside. So we're like, what? Was somebody in there? And so we're all kind of like on edge a little bit, because we're irritated and we're tired and this is weird. So Rose gets on like Yelp or something, and she's like, get off the bed, because I'm sitting on the bed at this point. She's like, get off the bed. And I'm like, okay. And she says one of the comments or something was that it wasn't bed bugs, but that whoever slept in the bed, like whatever room, had like multiple bug bites. And we're all like, great. Now there are bugs. We're all freaked out at this point, and we just, well, not freaked out, but we all just are like, oh, there's something off. And Alyssa and I are like brushing our teeth, and on the door of the bathroom, there were like handprints. And of course, our first thought was just like, ew, that's so disgusting. Like, there are like 4 handprints on the door. I don't know if there was more than that, but I remember like 4, and we're like, oh, that's so gross. But we didn't say anything to Rose, and I really don't know why, but we didn't. And we're just like, oh, blah, blah, blah. And so Rose and Alyssa slept in the same bed, and I slept in the bed across from Rose. There was like a nightstand in between us. And Rose had plugged her phone in on the nightstand. So we all like get into bed, and we're like, good night. But about 5:30 a.m., I remember Rose like kind of sat up, but not like unnaturally sat up. She just kind of like sat up in the bed, and she like reached down for her phone next to her, and she didn't turn it on or anything. And I was looking at her, and I was just kind of like watching her to see what she was doing. And it was like dark, but I was nervous that I was gonna scare her like if I was like looking at her, like, and she had just like woken up. And I was really nervous that I was gonna scare her, so I kind of shut my eyes again, and she like laid back down. And I was like, okay, whatever. So 7 a.m., we all kind of get up and are kind of just trying to get things done so we can get out of there. And I can't remember, we booked another hotel and we got the heck out of there. They didn't give us any problems with the money or whatever. We booked a hotel, really not like a nice hotel, like 20 minutes outside of the city. I was like, I don't care, we're driving 20 minutes because we are not staying here again. We're kind of looking up like reviews about the hotel, and Alyssa finds that it's supposedly haunted, and we are like, what? Everything starts making sense because we all had such awful feelings. Like, we were all really uncomfortable, and there was no reason really to be that uncomfortable. So Alyssa finds that it's supposedly haunted, and on the 5th floor there have been like people saying that they've woken up in the middle of the night to like a figure at the end of the bed. We were on the 4th floor, which is why we were like, what the heck? And things kind of just were like, oh my gosh. The weird things that happened may have nothing to actually do with being haunted, but in our heads it makes us feel better for some weird reason that we're like, it's because it was haunted. Rose had made a comment that Alyssa was like scratching all over herself like all night, and Rose was like, you wouldn't stop, and Alyssa was like, what? And like they both moved a lot because I kept waking up, but she was like, it was so annoying because you just kept like scratching and like all over. And she was like, I've never done that before. And I was like, well, Rose, you sat up in the middle of the night. And she was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, yeah, you did. You like sat up, and I closed my eyes because I thought I was gonna scare you. And she was like, what? And I was like, yeah, you sat up and like picked up your phone, and then you like laid back down. And she was like, no, I didn't. And I was like, yes, you did. So of course we're all like, oh my gosh. In hindsight, it probably isn't really that exciting of a story, but it was so weird, and now I can say that I stayed at a haunted hotel. And if you are in San Francisco and want to stay at this hotel and see if it's haunted for yourself, it's called the Opal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel, and everything that I've talked about linking down below, I will link down below, and I will see you next time.